Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review. We would so appreciate it. You can do that Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcast, as we welcome you to episode number 82, my friends.
Holy cow. Holy cow, 82. I do this every week, don't I? I really do. Every week I'm surprised by the number, and I guess I should probably get over it or something like that. I don't know.
Well,
but here we are.
Let's just think about this, Mr. Stevens.
I'm listening.
So remember when we were on the radio?
Yes.
It was 5 days a week.
Yes.
We usually got like maybe 2 weeks. Maybe when we were there longer, we got 3 weeks off.
Vacation, yes.
And maybe a few sick days here and there, for me at least, not you. But imagine we did that for probably over 5 years.
Uh-huh.
Add that up, it's much more than episode 82, that's for sure.
200, what is it? 200 working days a year. Not counting, 5 times 50, 200, 5 times 52 weeks. 5 times 50 weeks in a year, 2 weeks off is 250. My math still sucks after all these years. Yes, 250 working days per year. And you and I did I don't want to know how many years we did. So the answer is a lot. And so, yeah, 250 shows a year. Yikes.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
we would be well past episode 82.
Well, sure. We're only doing 1 a week versus 5 a week. I think that's kind of, yeah. Plus the money was a little better back then too. Not much, but a little.
Yeah, a little better. Well, I don't know if you took it hourly, maybe not.
Ooh. Okay, the scary thing is, you are 100% correct. The hourly rate is a lot better now, even though the money, the dollar amount is teeny tiny. That's scary. Now I'm depressed.
So we are making more hourly, Bill Stevens. We are just making less weekly, monthly, yearly.
A lot fewer hours. Yes, I hear that. All right, so what are you going to do? I don't know. That's kind of crazy now. Okay, fine. Yeah, so, I actually, no, go ahead. You've been playing with this new audio gizmo of yours here all week. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know, but BJ's been calling me like a couple, 3 times here because he bought this new toy and he can't make it work.
Well, I think I've got it 90% working. I can't get it to work with Zoom, but I finally now can get it to work with my cell phone. But like if you're at a radio station,
right,
and you're on the phone, actual phone, like, on Zoom, we have a much clearer signal.
Yes.
But now if I'm using the phone and let's say you're calling me and your voice is going to have that phone quality where, it sounds a little phony.
Phony, yes. I sound phony a lot, yes.
But my new microphone that works great with the board that I have,
right,
the little gizmo for podcasting. Oh my God. You would think I was God when you hear the voice.
You have that God mode sound. Yes.
Yeah, it's got compression and it just makes me sound beautiful.
Nice. But we haven't got that to work yet.
I haven't got it to work with Zoom. But if we were talking on the phone,
right,
I would sound like God and you would be a little beneath me because you would be on the phone, Mr. Stevens. So we'll continue.
I would be properly impressed. I understand. I get it. I do. Good for you. So make it work. Come on.
The boss, my son,
our boss,
is coming this week because Wednesday we're going to go see the Magic play the Warriors. And the way the Warriors have been playing and the way the Magic have been playing, I don't know if I want to wear my Warriors gear to the game on Wednesday night. Maybe I'll just wear my hat so I can always take it off and put it under my shirt if I need to.
Going to Orlando, see the Magic. Very nice. Yes, very nice.
So
Yeah, the
he said,
Magic is I mean, they're not having a fabulous year, but then neither are the Warriors. So it's kind of
and I don't understand it because the Warriors, even the youngsters, they've got some newbies and they've got some veterans,
mm-hmm,
and all are playing pretty damn good.
mm-hmm.
They just can't put a whole game together. They either start slow and end strong, but
Right,
not strong enough to win it,
right.
or they start strong and they end it terribly. And I don't know what the answer is, but it's sad,
It's
at
sad.
least
I'm
for me.
as we speak, I am looking to see where Orlando is in the East. Oh my gosh, they're in fifth in the East. They are in the playoffs 110%. So,
Yes.
yes. So I brought up NBA.com while we were chatting. So as we speak, as of today, which like we always say, we record this on a Monday, but it doesn't come out until Wednesday. So, your results may vary. But Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland Cavaliers, yes, New York Knicks, Orlando, and Indiana are your top 6 in the East. Wow. Who knew?
Yeah.
And then if you go out west, well, Golden State is absolutely positively on
In
the
the
bubble.
play-in.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
on
in
the
the
bubble
play-in.
at number 10. So they are at the bottom of the play-in.
Yes.
So it looks honest, and I think I did a story about that on the Shaq Fu Radio blog, plug. I think it's probably gonna be Warriors and Lakers in the play-in, which should be, a couple of old men playing pretty good ball, but the rest of the team, we're not so sure.
Yeah, that could go either way.
Oh, you think? Yeah, that could go either way.
I
Who
think
shows up?
whoever wins that, if those two play in the play-in tournament, then they of course have to play another game because you have to play 2 games to actually get into the tournament in the play-in.
Right.
But I'm thinking that whoever wins that game, Warriors or Lakers,
Right.
will probably get into the playoffs. And I am thinking also, I don't know. I think the Lakers can go further. That's all I'll say at this point in time, if
Right.
they win the play-in.
So out west, your play-in is from the bottom up. Like we said, Golden State and the Lakers at 10 and 9. And then at 8 is Dallas, and at 7 is Sacramento. None of those guys are slouches. I mean, I don't think so. But
Is it that the West is so much better than the East, but the East is winning these games against these bottom tier West Coast teams?
I would not say that the East is. I mean, I wouldn't say that. No, I mean, well, let's see. Denver is. I don't know. Can anybody beat Denver on an average night? Oklahoma out west. Your top 6: Denver, Oklahoma City, Minnesota Timberwolves, LA Clippers, New Orleans Pelicans, Phoenix Suns. Not impressed. Not really. No. I mean, the Suns, let's see, the number 6 team in the West is 592. What's the number 6 team in the East is Indiana. Yeah, okay, 556. All right, so they're not great either, but Boston is unbeatable in the East, and I guess Denver is unbeatable out west. So I'm not going to say unbeatable. As we used to say in football, on any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team. But whatever.
That's why
I'm looking forward to it.
That's why they play the game, my friend.
Precisely. I think come the end of the NBA season, I think I'm going to put my YouTube TV on hold. I think I'm going to save myself the 75 or 85 bucks a month. And because other than sports, I do not watch television. I mean, other than sports and the streaming services that I already have. I got Amazon, and for reasons unknown, I have Disney, and but as far as regular television, I watch zero other than sports. So when March Madness is over and then the NBA tournament is over, I think I'm gonna just hang it up for until football season starts.
Well, I haven't followed, and I'm somewhat ashamed to admit this, but I have not followed hockey at all this season. I don't even know.
I found that weird for you. I found that weird because I always thought you were a bigger hockey fan, but you told me a few weeks ago that you weren't that big a fan anymore, which I'm a little surprised at.
But you know, my whole, and I don't understand this. I don't know if it has to do with age. I don't know if it has to do with attention span. My my sports radar, and maybe it's just because the people that I like to support have not been awesome lately. But I'm finding that I'm not as interested in any of the sports that I used to be into. And I think it's though mainly because the people that I enjoy watching winning aren't winning.
Ah, well, sure. Hello, you're talking to a Cleveland Browns fan. Hello. We had 20 years of not winning.
But this is happening in every sport that I like to enjoy.
Okay.
I mean, NASCAR.
Right.
My guy is flopping like a fish in a pond without water. In the NBA, we just talked about my Warriors.
Right.
They can't put a game together, even though I still want to hug them and hold them. And if my son somehow, you know, my son has connections.
Your son has, yes.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but wouldn't it be neat if he surprised the old man and said, "Going to go back and meet Steph Curry"? My heart would stop right there. My life would be over. Oh my God.
Well, don't do that.
I'm going
don't
to
do
meet
that.
Steph
But
Curry.
it would be very cool if that could happen. Absolutely.
What would I do? I'd go,
Try not to, try not to slobber. Please, just try not to slobber.
I'm like a teenage girl with the hottest boy with the football quarterback. I would be like
the 15-year-old at the Taylor Swift concert. I understand. Yes.
Could you I'll take it off. Could you sign my hat, Mr. Curry?
Mr. Curry, you're twice as old as he is, more than twice. Yeah, I love that. But isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's interesting how we always, sometimes some people are Mr. Summer, people are not. I don't know. Yeah, but I get it. You know, if I ever met our man Shaq, would I say Mr. O'Neill? I don't think so, but I might. You never know. I might. So anyway, I get it. It's, and because I think for you, it sounds like for you, and you're very much what most people are. It's the people. It's the, you know, you can root for a team. I can root for the Cleveland Cavaliers because I'm from Cleveland, and that might be the end of it. But if you don't know anybody who's playing, and if you don't know how they're doing, you know, you're just rooting for a uniform at that point. You're literally rooting for colors at that point. And that's not super cool. So yeah, you know, you got your team, you got the, you know, Warriors with Steph and all Clay Thompson and all, you know, yeah, I get it. So
yeah, because we were talking earlier because, you know, Steph had an ankle injury, you know, a few weeks ago. And I was talking to my son. I said, can you imagine we're going to go to this game and Steph's not even going to play? He won't even make the trip. He won't even be in the arena. But I told him I still would enjoy the game because I know the other players. And Kuminga this year has just grown leaps and bounds. So he's going to be fun to watch. Damon Green's going to be fun to, he's going to be fun to watch. Clay, if he has a good night, will be fun to watch. That new young kid Jackson's going to be fun to watch. So I'm going to know. I know enough players that I'm going to enjoy the game no matter what.
See, there you go. You've just proved the point. It's when you know the people, when you know the players and all of that, it's like, okay, cool. You know, that's why nobody loves a football team for the you know, offensive lineman. You wouldn't recognize them on the street, you know, but the NBA, okay, they're not wearing a helmet and a face mask, so we see their faces, we recognize them, we know who they are and all that. So yeah, I get it. I you know, but again, so you're saying that the teams that, and people, like you said, NASCAR, see, I couldn't pick a NASCAR driver out of a lineup, not a one, you know, unless Dale Earnhardt came back from the dead, I couldn't pick a one out of a lineup. So that's how being a fan works, I guess. I think I'm not,
I think you should be a diehard fan though. And if you like a driver, you should root for them week in and week out. But it gets to the point like, oh my God, my driver was like doing halfway decent in the race. And then, he like, said, oh, I think I'll just, slide out and spin out here. Oh, wait, I'm back in. I'm going back up the ladder again. I'm up there. I'm in the top 10. Oh, I think I'll just spin out again.
So how do you, that's because see, there's no, I mean, when it comes to NASCAR, and I mean, it's huge fan base, gigantic. How do you decide who's your guy? I mean, in every other sport, it's tied to, well, not every other, but most other major sports are tied to locations. Cleveland or Orlando or Tampa Bay or whatever, you got your, yes, I'm from Tampa Bay. I'm a Bucks fan. Great. We understand that. How do you, as a NASCAR fan, how do you pick, quote, your guy?
That's a hard one to answer. Now, I think a little bit of it has to be that Bill Elliott was a good big time racer, back in the day. And now, his son, Chase Elliott, is racing. And I have become a fan of his. And also I like Dale Jr. And I don't know if I like Dale Jr. because of Dale Jr. or if I liked him because of Dale Sr. And I don't know if I like Chase Elliott because he's Chase Elliott or because he's Bill Elliott's son. I can't answer that question, but I know I like those two drivers. And both of them really had he's won a championship.
Right.
So that's good. But this year and last year, he really screwed up last year because he went, snow skiing or whatever, snowboarding, and broke his leg and was out like 12 races. So there's no way he was even going to be in the championship.
Wow.
So I don't know, but it just, but racing doesn't seem to be as exciting as it used to be. And I don't know if it's the new next gen car that's making it that way or what.
Interesting. I mean, to me, racing was never that exciting. And I hate to say it, you go to a hockey game to watch the fights, you go to a car race to watch the crashes, right? I mean,
well, I'll tell you this, hockey was not as exciting to me as I went to my first hockey game, okay? Not really knowing the rules like offsides and
right,
icing and all that stuff.
I still don't know all of it. So
it's kind of like
I get it.
You kind of like go, what? What? And then once you get to know the rules,
right,
and then it gets a little bit more exciting. Now with racing, there's excitement in strategy. The pit, you talk about a team,
right?
Actually, pit crew can make or break a race. If they make a mistake on pit row and don't get out in time, you can lose 10, 12 spots.
Sure.
And so it's not just the driver. The driver, very, very, very important, obviously. But it is a whole team, and it's also strategy. When do I need to pit to get tires? How long will my tires last? When do I need to get gas? Can I make it to the end of the race? Can I save enough gas to make it to the end of the race? What happens if there's an overtime? There's a lot of strategy that goes into NASCAR that people do not understand.
And the driver has almost nothing to do with all of that.
Right. He's just
gas mileage, tires, etc. All he's doing is stepping on the gas and turning left.
Yeah, but he's got to be doing it right.
Okay. I mean, I understand. I was just playing devil's advocate there. I get it.
But yeah, there's a lot to the driving also. I mean, as far as
sure. At the end of the day, the driving,
drafting, bump drafting. Yeah. There's a lot of different things in NASCAR that can make your car, go where it's supposed to or go into the wall. So that takes some pretty good brain power.
I'm sure I know it does. I absolutely know it does. The brain power, the driving ability, the reflexes, the experience, the skills. I get it. I do.
And of course, if you're in a car for 2.5 hours,
yeah.
And your mind, I mean, your I don't know what I want to say is up as high as it can get because you're going almost 200 miles an hour at some tracks.
Oh yeah. The adrenaline on that is going to be pretty crazy.
and you got inches away from the person in front of you, inches away from the person beside you, that takes a lot of athletic, and your car is like 90 to 100 degrees, and you're in there for 2 hours.
Oh,
and you can't like, hey, I think I'll stop at the gas station and take a piss. You can't do that in NASCAR. You go in your pants.
There's no Buc-ee's. There's no Buc-ee's along the way.
No, there's no Buc-ee's to shop and to get a nice brisket sandwich and a cold drink
And a bathroom.
You're going the whole 500 miles. You're not stopping for no break. You get to the stretch when the 8 seconds they take to put gas in your car and change your tires. There's your break right there. 8 seconds.
8 seconds. I see. I mean, I get it. I do. I get it. All right. Well, there you go, NASCAR fans. I'm sure we have a million NASCAR fans listening, and they will probably all rake me through over the coals here, and that's fine. It's just not my thing. I get it.
But there are many golf fans out there. I cannot watch a golf match on television.
I used to.
I can't watch tennis on TV.
I watched a lot of tennis when I was coming up, but I was a big tennis fan and big tennis player. And again, here, this kind of proves the point, or not proves the point, but it demonstrates the point. You knew the names. You knew who they were. Jimmy Connors, McEnroe, Andre Agassi, et cetera. Billie Jean King. You knew the names and you recognized them and you understood how they played and all that. I mean, to me, that makes a difference. You have that, even though you've never met them, and they wouldn't know you from Adam, you still feel a little connection because you've watched them, you've seen their career, you've seen them come up, you've seen them on good days and bad. There's some human connection there that matters.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a good way to kind of put a bow on that whole thing there. It's like, what is your connection to stuff?
That's like this NCAA tournament.
Yes.
I don't want to say the word love, but I have admiration. Maybe I have grown a great admiration to Zach Edey.
Who?
Zach Edey. He plays for Purdue. He's the big tall guy.
Well, they're all big tall guys, but
no, this
he
is
plays
like
for Purdue.
Yeah, he's like one of the big tall guys.
Okay, gotcha.
And I have, of course, I'm from Indiana, but I was always an IU, an Indiana University fan when I was younger and lived in Indiana. But basketball ruled back in my day in Indiana. That was the sport.
Right.
And so I'm really enjoying watching him play like I do Steph Curry. And I'm also enjoying watching Caitlin Clark. I am enjoying her like I enjoy watching Steph Curry.
Right.
Those people are just amazing to watch on the court. Just, their ability, their way they play. That's some of it to me too. If I enjoy watching a player,
sure, I
kind of get into I enjoy, even though in the early days I didn't like him that much, but I've come to respect and like him, LeBron James.
Of course. I mean,
and so I enjoy watching.
Of course, I'm from Cleveland, so LeBron James is like my guy. So yes. So
I still enjoy watching, LeBron play.
Right.
Now, when he beats the Warriors, I say USOB. But
you're supposed to.
But when he beats someone else, I go, "Yeah, good game there, LeBron."
That's right. The old man.
You may have walked 12 steps to get to the basket. That's okay because you've been doing it for the last 10 years, but you do it well.
And no ref is going to blow the whistle on LeBron James. I get it. Did you see, back to Caitlin Clark? I literally just caught a split second of it, but I thought I saw, and I'm not sure if it was YouTube or whatever. She was getting a little out of hand at the last game. Like she was like, I'm not going to say, going overboard, but she was complaining to some referees about some call or something that she didn't think she got. And they showed her father in the stands yelling, "Shut up and play." And I'm like, whoa, Dad.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Unfortunately, I kind of looked for them, but I haven't really watched any of the NCAA tournament for the ladies. And I feel bad about that because I love watching Caitlin play.
Yeah. I will. Well, you have until, because now, over the weekend they played the early whatever they round of 32 or whatever for the men, and now they don't until Sweet 16 starts on Thursday night. So you got this next few days for the ladies, I think. I'm not.
That's what I'm thinking
sure,
too.
but, about the schedule there, but
I think Caitlin
so.
plays tonight, maybe.
I think you're right, and if she does, I will absolutely positively watch. I will absolutely watch. So yeah, well, I can tell you that. So let me, women's NBA, women's NCAA tournament. So let's
while you're looking at that, as I was watching the NCAA tournament over the weekend, some games, I'll tell you what I'm really enjoying, and I like to give a little kudos to the man that makes this podcast possible. I love the new Shaquille O'Neal Home Depot commercials. Those are the most awesome commercials I think I've ever seen. And of course,
the Tool Shack. Way
to go, Shaq. Another endorsement sponsor you have picked up in the last few months, or I just started. That's the first time I ever seen him was during the tournament, but yep.
Me too.
There he is for Home Depot, baby.
I'm not going to say everything he touches turned to gold, but it certainly seems like it. He knows. Here's the thing, and believe me, I know as much about Shaq as anybody. Well, you never know; it's all old story. But, because he knows who he is, he knows where he fits in with things. I think he has a good sense of that. I've never spoken to him, damn it, but and he can pick stuff that it's like, okay, Tool Shack, perfect. And he's doing these new Home Depot commercials, and they're awesome. They are awesome. I love the one where he's cleaning the backboard very, very carefully. And the kid at the bottom of the ladder is like, "You okay up there, Shaq?" And he goes, "Oh, these things break very easily. You have to be very gentle with them." I'm like, "Oh, they break for you, Shaq, not anybody else."
I like the bench one. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah. I just make benches. I don't sit on them.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, my little webcam is trying to spill over there. There we go. All right, I'm back. Oh, dropping stuff left and right here. Look out. Okay. All right, folks, you didn't see that on the audio version of the podcast, but my little webcam just took a spill.
So yeah, you figured out when Caitlin's playing again?
Oh yeah, wait a minute. So tonight, let's see, second round. I don't bracket. She's not Iowa State. She's Iowa.
Yeah.
So today, Monday, no, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Belmont, Penn State. All right, where's the bracket here? Let's see that. Let's see what's coming up here. Okay, can I find? Where the heck is it? Iowa State. I don't want Iowa State. I want Iowa.
Where is it, Iowa State? I don't know. All I know is
Iowa. Oh, there we go. Yes, 8:00 tonight, Iowa. Well, again, as we record this on Monday. So, folks, for those of you listening on Wednesday, I'm sorry the game's over, but you've jumped into the future and you know already how this ended. But for BJ and I, Monday at 8 p.m., West Virginia, Iowa tonight. There you go.
Oh, wow. now, oh my gosh.
What?
I'm in a dilemma now.
Uh-oh, because what else do you have scheduled?
Who is Joey going to pick on The Bachelor, or will Caitlin Clark win tonight and move on to the next bracket? Oh my God, people. What am I going to do on Monday night?
So which is this the old guy? No, they're done.
He's done married. He didn't have no time to waste.
See, this is how little I know about The Bachelor. I know zero about what's going on. So anyway, but this is a new guy.
It's a good-looking young man. He started out with 32, just like a bracket. He had 32 in the bracket, and now he's down to the final two. And tonight he might get down on his knee. He may ask one to marry him. And will she say yes, or will she just say, I like you, but I'm not ready for. Who knows what will happen? It will be the most thrilling, the most dramatic ending in Bachelor history, people.
Wah, wah, wah.
And of course, we record this on a Monday, but you people who listen on a Wednesday, when we come out every Wednesday with a new episode, you will know what's driving me crazy today.
Folks, if you could see the angst, if you could see the worry in BJ, it would be, believe me, you would be just concerned for him right now. You'd be worried about him. So obviously, watch Caitlin and record The Bachelor, obviously, and then you can go back to it. I mean, is it on at the literally same time, 8 o'clock?
Same time, 8 o'clock.
Is it just an hour?
I think it's probably, since this is the last night, they probably go from 8 till 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, you're in trouble then.
Because on the last night, he always picks one. It usually takes
Right.
him an hour or two to pick one.
Right.
And then they have an hour where they like relive the whole show, and they sit there and you finally know who it is, and they've known for the last 3 or 4 months, and sometimes they've already broken up by the time that
Oh, really?
yeah.
See, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, because of course the show was recorded months ago, and so that's got to be a tough job. That has to be hard to say, all right, ladies, you got to sign an ironclad non-disclosure agreement here that says you are not talking about it. You are not talking to anybody about anything. In fact, we'd recommend you go on vacation to like Australia or something like that for the next few months. Wow.
I like that. Oh, it's now we can finally be in public. We've been sneaking around for the last, 3 months. We've been making
Right.
phone calls, and we've been, FaceTiming and everything else, and sexting, but we
Sexting. A couple of those last ladies, if they were in like the final 4 or the elite 8 or whatever, now they can tell their story. Oh, he was really a jerk. He was really.
Well,
I never wanted to be with him.
Like, if you would have listened to last week's show, it was interesting because like all but like 3 girls had been kicked off by then.
Okay.
So they had what they call the women tell all.
The women tell.
So it's the women who have the little cat fights. It's the women who got brokenhearted.
Right.
And they get to see him again face to face. And that's always an interesting show too.
Oh, of course. Okay.
But not as dramatic as this week's show was, as Joey made that final pick.
I'm writing this. BJ and I have a shared Apple Note. I'm writing down in my Apple Notes, ask BJ about Bachelor ending for next week so he can give us the recap and tell us all the sad stories that I'm sure will happen.
I really like both of the final girls, but one has like a hearing problem. So it has like one of those hearing aid things or whatever that's like almost bolted into your head. You had to have surgery for it. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think and she's cute too, though, but I think it's her disability that I want her personally to win. I said, if I was Joey, that would be my girl.
Now you got me curious, and I'm going to have to go look that up. And, so if I just Googled the Bachelor Final 4 or something like that, it would probably show me, right? So I'll know who you're talking about.
Or you can
all right then. So your job for tonight, obviously, is to make sure that The Bachelor is being recorded on your DVR, so you can watch it either tonight or whenever after the game. Because, I mean, I can't watch sports that a recorded game. I can't. It's like, it's already over. Even if I don't know who won, even if I have been a good boy and I've been out running errands or something all Sunday afternoon, and I come home and I put on that, recording of that football game, it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same. And I don't enjoy it nearly as much. So
yeah,
watch the live game tonight. Watch the live basketball game.
It's hard for me to do that also. Like I've told you this before, though, every once in a while, if I'm going to be out and it's going to be a really good NASCAR race, I will do that, but it won't be because I can really watch it back. But if there was some big action or some big, crash, I'll watch it.
Call back. If there's a big accident, if there's a big crash, that's what you're going to watch.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch.
Don't tell me it's about the racing. It's about the crashing.
No, it's about, I'll tell you what racing is really about. It's about the start, the restarts,
yes,
yellow flags, which is caused by a crash,
yes,
and the final 4 or 5 laps. If you really want, if you want if you want to get the real nitty gritty of racing,
Right.
it's the yellow flags.
Right.
You know, it's the beginning of the race, the end of the race, and the crashes in between.
My father was a big sports fan, and he said, I watch the last 5 minutes of a basketball game. That's all I watch. That's all you have to watch. I'm like, well, sort of, Dad, but and he says, and then if it's a blowout, I don't have to watch that either. But my dad could watch golf. So obviously different era there of sports fans. Although, as he would say, yeah, Sunday afternoon watching golf. What a great chance for resting your eyes. Dad, it's a nap. No, I'm resting my eyes. No, I'm taking it's resting my eyes. No, it's a nap, Dad.
Now, are you a bracket person? I know my sister-in-law who married my brother. She is a big bracket person. She will do a bracket. She'll have her bracket picked, and she'll be watching it the entire tournament. I'm not a bracket person. Of course,
there've already been plenty. I'm not either. And there've been plenty of bracket busting games already. So nobody ever gets it. It's impossible. It's mathematically like almost impossible. So I get it. You know, you would win Powerball 2 or 3 times before you'd get a bracket right.
Yeah, like if you got all 60. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Not a chance. Not a chance. All right.
Although there have been people that have done it, but I don't know how they've done it.
Maybe years ago when things were a little more. I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, and it's worth checking on. But
round one, there was a lot of there was not a lot, but there was quite a few upsets.
There were a few upsets in there. Oh yeah. Grand Canyon College. Tell me about it. I mean, they were a nobody. What was that? Well, we can check on that later. But anyway, all right. We've been yakking and yakking and yakking. We're way past the halfway part here. Besides, and I have to go refill my coffee. So do this. Take a break. Make your pit stop. How's that for a callback? Make your pit stop as you have to, and we will be right back. Welcome back. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. And we would love it if you would stop by wherever you pick up your podcasts and leave this show a fabulous 5-star review. Apple, Spotify, wherever you happen to get your podcasts. Feel free to do that. If you're on Facebook, just search for BJ and Bill podcast and you will find our page. And you can leave your comments there and tell us how crazy you are about your sports team or whatever, or not. There you go.
You know, I wish I would have known this a long time ago, because I remember when I was doing comedy, a lot of times I would go all the way to maybe Georgia, North Carolina. And, you know, after a show, a lot of times your adrenaline was up. You didn't really want to sleep. Well, I shouldn't say like when I was like in North Carolina, but you might want to say maybe getting to the next gig or whatever. You would like leave after the gig you did. Right. To get to the next gig. And sometimes you'd have to travel like maybe 4 or 5. Let's just say, okay, let's just change it up a little bit. Let's say I did a show in Jacksonville. Right. And I needed to be back in Fort Myers, which is probably 4 hours away.
Easy.
But I just said, I just want to sleep in my own bed. I don't want to stay in the hotel that the club is furnished for me all weekend long. It's Saturday night. I just want to get, you know, my own bed so I can get a, you know, decent night's sleep. Wake up Monday morning and do the BJ and Bill show on the radio. Right. Well, this tells me, according to a study, too little sleep has the same effect on the brain as alcohol. And I would kind of say they're right. I totally believe it. Yeah. Yeah. Because not a problem for me. I sleep plenty. I sleep too much. But yes, I get that it kind of fries your brain. Well, in a weird way, but yeah. And I've done that. I mean, we've both done that. I mean, back in the BJ and Bill show days, I used to sleep like 5 hours at night because my then wife and I would stay up until 11 o'clock at night. And I'd be up at 4 a.m. to be in there with BJ Odom for the morning show. And then I would get home at noon and I would sleep from noon till 4 or so when she got home from work. So I used to tell people, oh, I get my 8 or 9 hours. It's just split up. Yeah. And you know what? I had a problem because if I would do that, I could never sleep when it was time to lay down again, like at 10 or 11 o'clock.
Right.
So I usually tried to be in bed, and it was not easy for a grown man with a wife and kids. But I tried to be in bed between 9 and 10 every night.
Right. Right. I probably should have done that, but I'm not that disciplined. Still,
Yeah.
to this day, I am still up. Well, of course, now my excuse, and I'm making the air quotes, my excuse is that I'm watching the late night, men's basketball tournament and all of that. So I'm up until 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then I'm either reading or playing a video game on my iPad or something. And then I climb into bed and it's like, oh, damn, I'm turning the lights out. It's 2 a.m. Oh, great. Even if I get my 8 hours of sleep, it's 10 or 11 o'clock when I'm getting up the next morning. And I feel like, do better. Do better.
Well, really, though, I think the main thing is, though, as long as you do it consistently. I think if you're going to bed like I have trained myself now that I am not doing a morning show. I go to bed usually right around between 11 and 12.
That's good.
And if I go to bed the same time each night,
right,
I usually, fall asleep pretty quickly. And I usually wake up around, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Good night of rest. Now, let's say the Warriors are playing and they're on television and I'm curious.
And it's the West Coast game.
Oh, yeah. Some of those games don't get over till after 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Then I go to bed, and for some reason, because I've stayed up past my bedtime, because I've got all excited, because I've either won or lost by, 2 to 4 points, and, they're right into it all the way at the end, I can't go right to sleep. I'm too fired up like I am after a comedy show.
Right.
So it takes me an hour and a half, 2 hours to kind of come down to fall asleep. And then I'm going, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. So my brain's saying, I can't sleep. So guess what? I'm not sleeping because I'm telling my brain I can't sleep.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know who it was. One of the health gurus that I follow on YouTube has said that it's like, no caffeine, no coffee, no caffeine, no caffeinated tea, no caffeinated soda, no caffeine 6 hours before bedtime.
Oh, it's
no
noon for
food
me.
4 hours before bedtime. No screens, TV, iPad, computer, iPhone, no screens an hour before bed. So
my bedtime needs to be from 2 a.m. then till
I trust me. I'm watching television till the moment I turn the lights out. I go and I brush my teeth. I lay in bed and I will read or play a game on my iPad with that thing shining in my eyes while I'm literally lying in bed. No wonder it takes me an hour to fall asleep. My brain is like, oh, we're still working. We're here for you.
You know what? That screen will wake you up because I have this problem every once in a while. To me, I've never really been hooked on cigarettes, so I really can't say this. But my Facebook feed is kind of like my cigarette. After dinner, I got to light that baby up.
Roll the Facebook feed.
Yeah, what does somebody say? So a lot of times, like I will wake up like at 7 o'clock in the morning, just kind of, roll over to, get up and take that morning pee.
Yes.
And so as I go back to bed, I go, oh, let me just see. I might do this. Let's see what the Warriors did last night. Or let's see what this did. Or let's see if anybody, okay. And I'll look for it for like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 at the most. I'll set that thing down and damned if I can go back to sleep.
Your brain. And I have heard this and I know it to be true, that I have actually seen a couple of videos on this with real experts, not just YouTube experts. The light that comes from a lit screen, whether it's your phone, your computer, your iPad, your TV, it doesn't matter. The light that comes from that screen, the bright blue, white light, hits your eyeballs and tells your brain it's daytime. We have to be awake. Time to go out and forage for some strawberries or something. It's like that blue light hits your brain, hits your eyes, hits your brain. And it's like, okay, daytime, we're awake. And that's why Apple actually on their devices has that night shift mode thing that actually will dial down the blue light that comes out of your phone. I need to do a video on that, don't I? But it's still enough, especially if you're sitting in front of, like me, sitting in front of my, 65-inch TV or whatever at night till late at night. I'm awake, and I know exactly why. And it's a hard habit to break. Hard habit to break.
Yeah, it's like a cigarette to me.
Yeah.
Commercial comes, like I'm watching TV and the commercial comes on, pick up the
Oh,
iPhone.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I got the iPad sitting right next to me. I'll even hit the mute button on the TV so it doesn't bother me. And then I'll go over to the iPad and I'll scroll Twitter or X or whatever, or Facebook or whatever, or play a little game or something like that on there. And then I look up and I go, oh, they're back. I better turn the sound back up. And sometimes I'm doing both at the same time. Sometimes both. I admit it. I'll be watching the game, and if the game is boring, I still have the iPad in my lap. I'm still either playing a game or scrolling Facebook or X, Twitter. Do we need to call it X now? I don't know. Twitter, X, whatever. I actually am finding I enjoy Twitter more now than Facebook. Facebook is so many ads and so much BS that it's like, I don't really care. I mean, I have friends there and I do check in now and then, you and me and the show and all of that. I do that. But Twitter to me is more of a clean, kind of funny stuff or interesting stuff or outrage stuff or whatever. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I'm not too, I have X and I look at it once in a while, but I'm not, it's like, an ugly girl. I'm just not in that into it.
On Facebook, I mean, I'm sure you've noticed, everybody notices, they're not even subtle about it. That if I'm scrolling, and I'm like, oh, there's a cool pair of sneakers, I'll click on that and look at those sneakers and see if they have them in my size. Now, for the rest of the day, all I'm seeing on my feed are ads for sneakers. Yep. I mean, literally, or whatever. If socks or pants or shoes or cars or food, or it's like, really, guys, can you be a little more subtle? Really?
Now, it's kind of like keeping in the same vein. I hate to even say, and I'm going to say it right now, and I know when we get off, the podcast here,
yes,
and I turn my phone on, because I'm going to say Cracker Barrel. I'm going to say Cracker Barrel chicken. Cracker Barrel chicken. Now, when we get off this podcast,
I hear it coming.
And I turn on my little iPhone. I don't know how or why, but I'm going to start scrolling my Facebook. Wow. Look at this. Look at this chicken. Look at this chicken ad from Cracker Barrel. Damn. That looks good.
You think?
Yeah. Maybe I should just, let's see. Have I said it enough times yet? Let me go over here to my feed. Let's see if I see a Cracker Barrel ad yet. I don't know. It might take a little while.
Yeah, it might. Experiments have been.
Wait. I do see Publix, so that must be thinking. It's not chicken. It's
food.
Showing me taco shells.
Right. But it's whatever advertiser is closest to what you have said.
Well, I know one thing, and this is a true story, and I can say this is true. One time in Fort Myers, we went by a restaurant that had been open for a while.
Right.
But it was like in our neighborhood. It's probably been open for maybe 3 years. And we went by this restaurant and we talked about, we need to go check this restaurant out and see if it's any good.
Right.
I swear we got home that day, turned on my Facebook. There was an ad for that restaurant. Now, I never Googled that restaurant name.
Right.
All I did, I said out loud the name of the restaurant and, we need to try that.
Right.
And bam, wham, wham, damn. There it was right there on my Facebook page.
I do not have the Facebook app on my iPhone or my iPad. If I want to scroll Facebook on any of the devices, I go to the website and I sign in and it's fine. I have heard, and I should do a little more research on that. I have heard that the apps, well, I mean, you've seen that on the iPhone nowadays, when you install a new app, it'll come up with the box that says, ask app not to track me. And Apple is, really, Apple has put a real, let me put it to you this way. Apple has taken a real bite out of advertising because of the fact that it does not let you track what BJ Odom is looking at, spending time with, or any of that stuff. The Facebook app was the most intrusive. TikTok has taken over for that. I don't have the TikTok app on my phone or my iPad. It's like, I don't really want to be spied on. I know it's happening. I know I'm being spied on regardless. I just want to try and keep it under control a little bit. But yeah, I'm sure everybody is listening or watching or whatever. So,
Boy, I wish a real sexy, hot-looking babe would call me right now. You know what I'm going to get now when I open my page?
ads for OnlyFans? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably. Stormy Daniels will be like all over my feed.
Wait a minute. Is your wife home right now? Come on.
Yes, she is, but she
Okay.
knows that I talk about, the
Yeah,
Facebook being
I know.
I don't know, scary.
It is. It is that. And as AI gets smarter and smarter and smarter, and we get dumber and dumber and dumber, more attached to our devices, it's really, really scary what's going to be happening in the next couple of years.
Now, I
Really
will tell
scary.
you, now my son does the Outcast podcast
Right?
with a few other Outcast people from radio.
Right?
And what's really funny, he has an AI account, obviously, because of his business.
Yep.
He asked AI to write theme songs for their podcast.
Really? Music, right? Music.
Had one for, big band swing,
Right?
had one for rock and roll, had one contemporary, one bluesy. He did like
Really?
5 different ones.
Really?
And they weren't like hit records, but I mean, it was all, singing. Somehow they got an AI voice,
Wow.
AI, and it just kicked them right out in seconds.
And how was it okay? Was it good, bad, otherwise?
They were all
Pretty good.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
they were
pretty
pretty good. And within seconds, it threw
I
it
know.
out to him.
I was talking to one of my friends down in Sarasota, a lady her son was getting married. Congratulations, Mr. Alex. Her son's getting married. The mother of the bride was asked to give a little speech at the reception dinner. Did I tell you this story?
Yeah, you talked about this. I said, well, can you imagine going to another wedding 2 weeks later and the same speech is told? Well, that's funny. That's what Martha said about her side.
There you go. So see, that's how bad my memory is. I forgot that I told you the AI speech story, but it was good. It was good is the problem, not the problem, the crazy part. So yeah. And how long has AI been a thing? How long? I mean, for us, for the general public, yes. If you're a scientist, if you're a computer scientist, you've known about AI for 10 years. I get it. Okay. For those of us in the real world, it's been less than a year, maybe a year. In 5 years, OMG, oh my God, it's going to be unbelievable.
Now, I do
by
Facebook,
today's standards.
As I said, I do Facebook on my phone.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen this because you say you do it, online with the website.
On the browser, yeah.
I can go nowadays, you can go and like write a post. And all of a sudden a little window comes up and says, would you like for AI to make this more creative? Would you like for it to grammar check it? Would you like for it to lengthen it? Would you like for it to shorten it?
Is that right on Facebook?
Oh yeah.
I see. I didn't know that.
And you hit the little box. Oh, I would like for you to make this, more, more entertaining or longer or
funnier, longer, cuter,
and
whatever.
You got a whole new one come out, and it's like, oh my God, I'll post that. People, I shouldn't have said that now.
Now we all know. Now we know when we go to BJ Odom's page on Facebook, it's all the computer doing the work.
They'll say, man, he is really getting good with his words. He should be a writer. So
that's I don't know if it's the point or not, But that's part of the issue. And that is, at what point is it all just robots talking to each other? BJ Odom says, I want to make a post about the Warriors game last night. And the Facebook AI says, no problem, BJ, here you go. Here's 300 words with a picture, and it's brilliant, and it's great, and it's funny. And on the other end, Bill's AI robot on Facebook is responding to that with a really pithy comment going, oh, that's hilarious, BJ. You're such a good writer, and that's such a great insight. And it's just two robots effing talking to each other. Sorry, got a little crazy there. I eventually, hopefully, maybe someday we go back to talking to each other, one human to one human, or maybe a few humans at a party or a bar.
Again, and this is kind of what, we talk about on this podcast. Bill and I both now in retirement age, over 65. But
Yes.
my daughter, hardly, when she's teaching, she talks to little kids. But when she's at home, she hardly ever talks to anybody.
Right.
She hardly ever talks to her boyfriend. It's all texting.
Yep.
Everything. But she's got the fastest thumbs in the West. Let me tell you, man, that girl could.
Cool.
I can't even get the answer started, and she's already responded,
Right.
But that's just her generation and above. They don't talk. Well, that's like this comedian we saw the other night was talking about how him and his wife had this big fight, on Facebook. And, then they looked at each other and noticed, oh, we're sitting right next to each other on the couch.
So at least they're recognizing what's going on, and they're like, oh, we could actually talk if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But someday, maybe not. Maybe like I said, your robot talks to everybody. My robot replies to your robot.
But then I want to read what your robot had to say to my robot.
You will? Okay. Fine. Great.
Hey, robot.
How about at the end of the night, I just tell my digital assistant, whether it's the Apple one or the Amazon one, we won't mention names because they'll both start talking. How about we just tell my digital assistant, at lunchtime, summarize all the important posts that have been to me on all the social media in the last 8 hours. And it just spits them out. Oh, okay. All right. So I like BJ's reply. Send a reply to BJ. And that's all I say. And it thinks up something and it sends it to you. I think we're well into the twilight zone here now. We're well into the, dystopia. Google it. It's a good word. So
How do you spell it though?
D with a Y, DYSTOPIAA. DTOPIA. Dystopia. Yeah, it means think of Mad Max, the movie, but with iPhones. That's what it means.
All right, I have one more. I have one more note here.
One more note,
and I don't even know how much of a conversation this will start, but it's scary.
Which is,
and it made you. I mentioned this to you earlier, and it made us both feel very, 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 very old. Scientists found that old age begins at the age of 27 as your mental powers start to decline. No wonder we're using AI. At 27, our brains started to fizzle out back then.
Where was I when I was 27? I'm pretty sure I was in Phoenix. Pretty sure I was working in Phoenix at the time. Maybe not. Maybe I hadn't even left Fort Myers the first time. Because I was, right after I got married, we moved to Fort Myers in 82. And I was there for like 2 years. And then we moved to Phoenix for 6 or 7 years. So I was somewhere in there. So good God. Yeah, those were the days. Wow. At 27, your brain starts to fizzle. Or at least starts to downhill.
And your brain doesn't even really start to work till you're about 23 or 24.
Right. Especially for men. It takes a longer time for men's brains to, I don't know what it is, but to start hitting on all 8 cylinders. I don't know.
We're too interested in, boobies and things like that.
Yes. And then that pretty much stays throughout all of life. The only question is, how well do you manage it?
Oh, yeah, that's true too. 27th. I don't know. I think somebody, whatever scientist did this was a mad, crazy scientist. I think it's now. When do you think you peaked in life as far as accomplishments? What do
Wow.
you think were the best years? I guess there could be lots of different ones. I mean,
Yeah.
there could be a happiness phase. There could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
a financial phase,
Financial,
career
career.
phase. I
When
would
you
say,
and I, you know what sticks in my brain? You know what really, really sticks in my brain career wise? You and I winning morning show of the year in Fort Myers. I was standing in the back towards the side back of the room with our boss, Jim Radford at the time. And I don't know, maybe you announced it. No, I don't know. Whoever announced it. I don't know where you were at the time. You were in the room, but they announced that. And he and I just hugged each other and went crazy. And then you and I hugged each other and went crazy. And it was great. It was quite it felt like a big accomplishment. I don't know if it really was, but it sure as hell felt like it. And that was a real high that I'll never forget.
well, the biggest high I think I had in the career was one, but there was another one that stood out to me more than anything else.
Okay.
Back when Howard Stern was on terrestrial radio,
Yes.
he was always number one in Fort Myers.
Yes.
We were up against Howard Stern. There was times we got number 2 behind him. There was times we got number 3 behind him in the ratings. And I always told Jim Radford, our boss, someday we're going to beat Howard Stern. And he says, you guys are doing great in your demo. Don't worry about it. You're never going to beat Howard Stern. One book, we actually beat Howard Stern across the book. Every demo, we did it.
Yep.
And I thought that was the peak of my career.
That's as good as it gets. Do you think Radford said that just to challenge you? Was he like, I'm going to tell him he can't do it. Let's see if it ups his game.
I don't know if
he might have.
It could have been. I think
though
he may have believed it too, because I think he was even pretty shocked.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I haven't spoken to him in 20 years, but I see him on Facebook now and then. He was a thoughtful guy. He was strategic with everything. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he said that on purpose. But yes, so career things, family things, money things, everybody has their own, you were asking when were we at the top of the game in something? So yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I remember a lot of career things. I don't know why they stick out, but they do.
Yeah. And I of course, you never experienced this. I think another high in my life anyway was small kids.
Sure.
When my kids were little, we were going to Disney World and going to circuses and stuff like that. That was the height. Now, I will say this too, though. Now, being at my age and being, kind of like, retirement.
An old man. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, this is nice. And I hope my wife is listening to this part. Maybe it'll get me some brownie points. But, just sitting on the couch, watching TV, together.
Right.
I guess that's what they talk about, growing old together.
Yes.
There's something in that also that is special and nice.
Awesome. And yes, I get that. And yes, it is. So good for you. I'm glad you recognize that, because I think a lot of times we go through life, and I'll end on this, but I think a lot of times we go through life and we don't recognize or stop and go, oh, wait, this is really cool. This is really good. I'm going to remember this moment, because 30 years from now or 50 years from now, when I'm about to leave this life, I want to save those memories. I want to say, so yes, good for you to remember and recognize and be aware of that. And I think more people should, as you go through your day, it doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever, but just keep an eye open for cool stuff.
Yeah.
What comes along.
What gets me, and like our daughter will text us sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And, something will spark my mind about the past or something that happened with my daughter. And so I'll be typing it, because usually my daughter texts myself and my wife at the same time.
Right.
So I'll be writing my response, and because I'm slower than crap, and before I get my response out, all of a sudden, bling, and my wife has written about exactly what I'm going to say. And I go, that's what I was going to say.
There you go. Well, you've had the same experiences for all these years and the same, obviously the same children. So yeah, it's all good.
And then that's when we laugh, we look and we'll laugh at each other. And
yeah, awesome.
And then
That's
she'll
awesome.
go, hey, who says we don't belong together?
There you go. There you go. All right. Good job. Good job. Well, no matter where your brain is, we hope you have a good week out there. So take the time, recognize cool stuff when it happens to you, be in gratitude for that sort of thing. Oh, thank you for sharing that with me. Angels, universe, God, whatever you choose to talk to when you talk, that sort of thing, and just be happy for it. It's good stuff. It's all good. Any last words there, Mr. Odom?
Who knows? Maybe by this time next week, I'll have this fancy equipment of mine all in working order, and we could actually do it on my new machine.
That would be awesome.
Because this machine is actually
tuned for that.
Because this is designed for a couple different things, to do radio production like I do, for other stations.
Yes.
But it's designed specifically for podcasting.
Perfect. If only you could get it to work.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you get bored, I can call you and see if the phone is working.
Yeah.
I've tried it with my wife, but she's in the other room. So you kind of hear her and the phone.
Well, if you need to talk, I will be here all day. I'll be here all week, folks.
Okay, good. I will call you after the podcast. Now look, I have two microphones here and I almost went to the wrong microphone. I'm too far from the microphone. Oh no, that microphone's supposed to be over there.
All right, folks. While we figure out the technical stuff, you have a great week. We'll see you again here next week. Make sure to leave that 5-star review for the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next week. And until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya!